Hey guys, Brian here with Wolf's Prairie Outdoors. Today we're going to be installing the loading gate for the Marlin 1894 from Ranger Point Precision. First and foremost, you want to make sure your gun's unloaded. We've got a chamber flag in mind. Going to remove it. As you can see, there's no ammo in the gun. Main reason we're changing this out is when you push on this loading gate, it is pretty stiff. It takes some serious pressure to get it to the bottom. So this new loading gate is supposed to alleviate that problem, and we got it in black to match the furniture. It's going to look really nice. So first up, we've got to remove our lever. You want to put it at the half cock position so you can easily remove it. Make sure you've got a screwdriver fit for the job. You don't want to use one too small and mess up the head or slip out of the hole and mar your finish. Slow and steady wins the race here. We're not in a death match. Okay. Move my bits around. Always put your spare parts in a container so you don't lose them. I'm going to remove that lever, set it to the side. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and remove my bolt. And I'm going to get a pair of needle nose and grab my ejector that looks like a little bobby pin. Set it off to the side. Okay, now I'm going to depress the trigger safety block for the lever. The lever would normally depress this for you, but you've got to do it by hand. You can use a screwdriver if you need to. Pull the hammer back, push the lever in. Okay, now that my hammer is lowered, I'm going to switch bits and go ahead and remove my stock. Okay, set my stock off to the side. Now I'm going to remove my hammer spring and hammer spring plate. Just push it to the side and rotate out at the top. Plate comes right off, as does the spring. Now I'm going to pop this screw out that retains the hammer. Okay, now that it's loose, that one has a little bit of pressure on it, so it's harder to get out. Now I'll set my hammer off to the side. Next up, we're going to remove the two screws holding the trigger plate on. I'll remove the bottom one first. This bottom screw is longer than the screw on the side, so when you take these out, you want to make sure you know which one goes where. The longer screw goes in the bottom, the shorter screw goes in the side. There's our longer screw. And here's our shorter trigger plate screw. As you can see, they are very close in size, but that one goes on the bottom, that one goes on the side. Put those in my parts bin so I don't lose them. Now I'm going to pull the trigger plate off the bottom. Next up, we just need to drop the carrier, locking block, bring it out. You may have to give it a slight tap to get your carrier to drop free. The reason for that is the end of the carrier is resting against the follower in the magazine tube. Now that the carrier is dropped free, all I have to do is remove the screw for the loading gate. It's this little screw right here. You do want to be careful. The head on this screw is very, very fragile. You don't want to strip that head out. So go slow and easy. Keep good, steady pressure on it. And as the loading gate comes unscrewed, it will drop free. So there we go. There's our old loading gate. Here's a comparison of the old loading gate and the new one. The older loading gate is a heavy stainless steel. The new loading gate is aluminum. It's a lot lighter weight and it's going to flex a lot better than the stainless steel. And it also has a very nice Ranger Point logo on the upper left-hand corner. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's there. This should allow a lot easier loading than the stiff loading gate, and a lot of factory Marlins have stiff loading gates. It's just a fact of life. So if it's a problem, you can take it out and put this bad boy in and solve a lot of your issues. So I'm going to line this up from inside so I can see the hole. Drop the screw on it. And I reverse screwed it until I could feel that thread drop into place. There we go. And now, ever so slightly, you want to keep pressure right behind where the screw is. Now that I've got pressure held there, behind the screw, I'm going to screw it into place. You want to go slow and steady. Do not strip the head of this screw out. And don't scratch your gun. And that's tight. Now, oh man, that's nice. All right, now we just need to reverse everything we've done and put the gun back together. So I'm going to push my carrier back up in here. Next up is the locking block. I'm gonna go ahead and take this opportunity and just wipe it down with an oily rag. Just wipe off any residue that's on there from shooting and get it cleaned up, get it looking good. All right, the locking block has a wide side and a narrow side. The narrow side is gonna go towards the loading gate. The wide side goes towards the other side of the receiver. Drop that bad boy down in there. Next up, we're gonna install the trigger plate. Drop it in front first, push it down in there. Get the screw holes lined up where they go. And remember, of your two small screws, the long one goes to the front. So I'm gonna drop it in. I'm not going to tighten it down. Got to switch bits. Make sure you're using the right bit for the job. I'm not going to tighten this down. I'm just going to get it lightly snug. Kind of hold things in place. All right, I'm going to drop my screw in. And get that bad boy going in there. Again, not super tight. Next up, I'm going to drop my hammer into place. And again, to put your hammer in, you have to depress your trigger block safety back here, run your trigger in, and that will allow you to align the holes for your hammer screw to be inserted. Once you get it lined up, it will drop right in there. Now you can tighten these three screws up to proper tautness, so that they don't fall out. You don't want to over torque them, but just get them good and snug. Some people use Loctite. I don't, because I don't want to have to deal with that buildup as I'm taking things apart to clean. Next up, we're going to install the hammer spring and hammer spring plate. Remember that the hammer spring plate goes with the hole down and the curved end up. So I'm going to slide that hammer spring on and going to get the strut into the hole, get it lined up with that groove, tip the hammer spring plate forward and slide it in. Just like that, really easy to install. You just got to get everything lined up where it goes. Once you do, you want to get it roughly centered so you've got even empty space on either side of the hammer spring plate so that everything will slide back together nicely. I'm going to go ahead and cock my hammer and drop my ejector back in. You want the springy side of the bobby pin to go in. You've got a little dimple here on the side, and with that little dimple, you'll see there is a hole on the outside of the receiver. That is where that dimple slides in. All that holds it in is the bolt assembly riding back and forth across it. It's not going anywhere, it's held in with that pressure. When you go to install this, make sure the opening is facing towards the barrel and the dimple is towards the stock. You just want to drop it down in there, and I'm going to use my little brass tool here to slide it in place. It drops right in. Next up, I'm going to slide my bolt assembly in and slide that forward. Then I'm going to put my stock back on. And again, I'm going to switch out my bits. Always use the right bit for the job. It's not worth getting in a hurry and messing something up. Tighten that bad boy down. And last but not least is going to be a screwdriver swap again. And I'm going to install the lever. Guys, that's all there is to it. Now, the new loading gate is installed. Everything's functioning fine, and that loading gate is easy to push. Man, that's nice. If you look here, that's just super easy. It's gonna load really, really well. And I think that black looks really good on that rifle. It's a nice offset to the side, matches the furniture well. Really like how it looks. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this install. It's a quick, easy process, just a few things to take apart, and really I think that is going to be a great upgrade to this rifle. If you like this video, give us a big thumbs up. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. That way we know you like what we're producing. We'll produce more of it. Have a good one, guys.